Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Elite Academy and welcome back to our daily issue analysis Dia. So first of all, thank you that we have been in getting very encouraging messages. Yesterday evening somebody called and he was sharing that he really liked the notes, the compilation which we are providing on daily basis and monthly basis which we are providing the notes. There was a unique demand that, sir, can we get the notes in topic wise format? So I think you all can arrange it topic wise, but I really appreciate the way the person approached and was praising all about the initiative and the request to continue it further. So don't worry, this initiative will be there always, and we will come up with issues as and when it will be in news. The all the relevant issues it will be covered. So don't worry about that. Just make use of it, even though if you are reading it holistically and after listening to it, after going through the notes, try to attempt answers, then only you will be questions. Try to attempt questions so that only you will be able to understand whether you are able to bring the points whatever you are learning through this video, are you able to bring them in your answers or not. Then only the real learning will happen. Otherwise, if we watch the video and we go through notes, definitely it is empowerment and the feel good factor will be always there, but real empowerment will happen if you are using it in your answers. Okay, so do make use of it. And still, if some of you are struggling with the current affairs, and then we are launching the ACE program, a read current affairs exclusive program. So if you are not aware of it, then please check our Telegram channel. You will get to know about the details of the course, and that is we are starting from tomorrow itself. It is a 13 months long program which will include prelims and mains both. Okay, now let's start our discussion of the day. So today we have taken this topic of criminal justice system in India and why it was in news. So it was not in news because of any reason, like it was not because Supreme Court has said something. It was because that 75 years has been completed, and there was one writer who has written, who has commented. So R.K. Vij, and he is the former policeman. So he has written that the shackles of 1861 need to go, and there this article is of 16th August itself, and this was on the editorial section. It was a column. So he is highlighting that though since independence, after we India is celebrating 75 years of independence, and a lot of things has been changed, but still police, whenever we talk about police, the trust deficit, the issues, the cruelty aspects, lot of aspects are there which needs to be changed. So he's saying in this article that the criminal law, the procedures, even though they have been modified, but still there is some or the other way, in some form, the colonial hangover, the colonial legacy is there. So that needs to be changed. So the Indian criminal justice system, significantly, we inherit lot of features from the British criminal justice system. Okay, and most of the punitive or the procedural or the evidence laws, even what punitive, procedural, and evidence laws are not only outdated but also needs amendment. So in that regard, we are discussing it. Okay, and the need for new laws is also due to the advanced type of crimes that have started emerging with the advancement of technology. So new days, new technologies, new crimes are coming up, and we live in an age of media trials. We live in the age of vigilant cops, mob lynchings, right? So all these are symptoms as well as the causes of the poor criminal or the ailing criminal justice system. So that's why we need to bring the reform. So these keywords, whatever I was telling, the punitive, procedural, evidences, all these keywords should be there not only in your mind, but whenever you are writing the answer, you should be right on these lines. Then only your answers will look specific to the demand of the question whenever it is question around the criminal justice system. And criminal justice system is very much integral part of the democratic system setup. Therefore, it is very important that we should take comprehensive steps in order to make it more effective. So that's why we are discussing it. That 75 years, there are problems, and it is very much part of the democratic setup. So be it the punitive measures, procedures, evidences, we need to bring changes, especially the way police is functioning. Okay, so hope you got the context at why we need to cover this topic. And this is very important topic of GS2, where we talk about the civil services, where we talk about the law and order situation. Okay, so let's understand it in detail. So before we discuss about the criminal justice system in detail, about the problems, issues, and the way forward, briefly we will understand that what is it criminal justice system. So the core of criminal justice system revolves around these provisions, these statutes. So Indian Penal Code 1861, the Evidence, the Police Act 1861, the Evidence Act 1872, and the Code of Criminal Procedures 1898. Okay, and if we talk about the system, criminal justice system, so the word criminal justice system is not a single entity, and had it be and since it is not a single entity, so it do not exist in any of the three list, be it the state list, the union list, or the concurrent list. So it is not mentioned in the seventh schedule of the constitution as a criminal justice system as a word, but taken together the system integrates police, it includes the police procedures, it includes criminal procedures, and also the judicial proceedings. So whenever we are talking about criminal justice system, it is not a single word. So it includes the system means all these things, and it is revolving majorly around the provisions or the provisions related to this act mentioned under these statutes or these acts. Now let's understand it in detail. Now, in order to understand the issues, we will understand the issues at different levels. So first we will understand the issues at the level of police and police procedures. Then we will move towards criminal procedures, the issues related to that, and issues related to judicial proceedings, so that you will get overall holistic understanding. However, if we talk about police and police reform, so it is complete independent topic in itself. Issues related to judiciary, they are complete, that is another separate topic in itself, and also the criminal procedures. But we will develop overview, overall understanding about the criminal justice system, so that whenever you are reading specifically also, you will have some maturity to address or to collect the information accordingly. So let's start with the police and police procedures. So starting with the issues at the level of police and police procedures, the first issue is that limited power of the central government. So police, if we talk about, it is exclusively subject under the state list of the seventh schedule of the constitution. So any changes in existing structure or any reform which is there related to police, it requires proactive measures by the state government and not only by the central government, because central government has a very limited say, right? And also if we talk about the police system per se, it there is a colonial legacy, because the existing police procedures, they were meant for the public when the public was illiterate or the literacy levels were very very low, right? So these procedures, they are continuing even today, and despite of the significant modernization in infrastructure or the people's awareness or the forensic technologies, even though lot of modernization is happening with respect to the infrastructure, with respect to the demand and the supply, means the people are also becoming aware of their rights, but still the procedures, they are revolving around the or the procedures are there with the colonial mindset, colonial hangover is there, right? The third issue is related to unholy nexus between the politicians, police, and the criminals. So the state police force, we have seen that a lot of say of state government is there, right? And if we talk about the central armed police forces, be it CRPF, ITBP, SSB, BSF, there only central government or the Union Home Ministry can interfere. So what we have observed, that over the years in this the police procedures related to the state governments, the police forces, the personals, they have unholy nexus with the politicians, or they are serving the political interest, or the police is being used for the vested interest. So there has been it has been observed that there has been abuse of the power and the use of police forces for personal or the political interest. And this was even highlighted by second ARC. Second ARC highlighted this issue of unholy nexus. So they are favoring each other. When they are favoring each other, then how they will serve the the public. If there is an issue of rape, then the police will not report it because the criminal who has done that, they have some good connection with the politicians, or they themselves are the politicians. Their relatives are the politicians. So they say in the efficient investigation or the criminal justice system or the criminal procedures, that efficacy will be reduced, gets reduced or gets diluted, right? So because of this unholy nexus. Next, if we talk about the police system, then the police forces are overburdened. Why we have observed this? Because the police forces, be it the central or the state, there is shortage of the staff. So if we analyze totally, so the ratio is of in India is 144 police officers are there per 1 lakh citizens. So there is approx 30% vacancy. So our Indian police is operating at 30% vacancy. And the if we analyze the observation of United Nation, so the Indian police to population ratio is much lower than the recommendation of United Nation, which should be triple two, means 222 police officers should be there per 1 lakh citizens. So these are few of the challenges. We will discuss few more. The other issues which are there at the level of police and police procedures, the next one is related to police accountability. So police accountability is also one of the problem, because if we analyze police accountability, then be it the custodial deaths or the custodial tortures, encounter killings, or the allegations of corruption, all these issues, they question the integrity of the police. And if we analyze with the help of the National Crime Records Bureau's annual Crime in India report, then this report says that there were 76 custodial deaths reported in 2020 itself. And out of that, 14 deaths were due to lathi charge. So this highlights the issue of that how we can make the police accountable, because if the custodial deaths are happening, these are happening because of the police tortures. Next issue is related to the lack of infrastructure. So the police forces, if we analyze, they face severe lack of resources. Right? It whenever that too when we are talking about the enormous and the varied responsibilities they undertake. So CAG reports also highlighted time to time that there is shortage of weapons with several state police forces, and police vehicles are also there is shortage of supply. So, for example, they analyzed the status of Rajasthan and West Bengal, that they had shortage of 75% and 71% in required weaponry in these states with the police. So this highlights the problem. Okay, and if we analyze the capacity of the police is a state subject, and every state has their own capacity, weaponry, the vehicle system, the forensic support system, the training with respect to the evidence gathering during investigation. So it has been analyzed that the forensic units are not well equipped. The vans are not equipped with respect to the collection of DNA or to undertake the on-spot test. So there is a lack of the equipments and the personals. In fact, it was observed that the forensic lab in Agra, they lack fuming hoods, which has to be worn when chemicals which are harmful to humans are being used, which were polluting labs. So this was analyzed in 2017. CAG audit report of Uttar Pradesh forensic labs had identified this issue of lack of fuming hood. Further, it was also analyzed that the forensic lab of Lucknow was having only one genetic analyzer, which is used for final parental determination at the end of DNA testing. So whenever we have such shortage of equipments, what it will lead to? It results in pendency of the samples, because then the samples will be sent to some other labs. So it leads to pendency of the samples. And if pendency of sample is happening, then delay in the overall this justice system will happen, right? So we need to have these tools, the analysis tools, be it the spray marketing paint or the digital distance measuring device, laser light pen, or the UV light. these were not provided. These equipments, there is shortage at the police station level if we analyze. Okay, so like this, the overall forensic infrastructure is lacking with respect to the personals, with respect to the equipments, with respect to the labs or the lab assistants. For example, it was observed in 2016 that almost 80% of positions in forensic labs were vacant in Bihar, and 88% of the lab assistant positions were vacant in West Bengal. So, are you understanding? With the help of these data and with the help of these analysis, you will be able to understand better that what is the status of infrastructure, be it with respect to weapon or the human resource or the forensic science. So, what you have to do? Forensic labs and forensic equipments and forensic personals. So, what you have to do? You have to just take the help of these points in order to analyze the respective side heading. If we analyze the police forces, then definitely they are facing a lot of psychological pressure, be it with respect to the pay scale or the promotion or the working conditions. So little has been spoken about the reforms which has to be done at the level of psychological level. So it has been observed that inhumane working condition of low rank officials is there. And whenever you will visit any police station, then you must visit and analyze the situation of the physical infrastructure which is there. And daily you must be encountering, must be coming across the issues of the traffic police in the condition which they are serving. So be it the pollution level or their equipments. So all these leads to psychological pressure. And we have already discussed the shortage of the police personals. 144 police officers are there for every 1 lakh citizens. So is it not, will it not happen that they will face the shortage of, they will be not allowed to take leaves, extra burden will be there. It has been observed that on many festivals they will be not given leave and they will not be able to invest time with their family members. So when they are not getting any kind of psychological help on the festive days, also if they are just managing law and order situation only, will it not lead to psychological pressure? Definitely it will. Okay. Another issue is related to trust deficit. So there is lack of trust among public with respect to the whenever they see police or whenever they see the police personnel in uniform, the general perception is corruption. General perception is harassment, right? So this is there because of the apathy which is there in the police personnels or the lack of sensitivity which is there, and finally it turns into custodial violence, torture, or death to extreme. For example, this was even substantiated by the NCRB in a report in 2020 report. They highlighted that 20 cases of human rights violation by police were registered in 2020. So NCRB data is also highlighting. So all these issues cumulatively leads to trust deficit. So these were the problems, these were the issues at the level of police and police procedures. So whenever you're now talking about the various committees and recommendation, then always have in mind how to draw the timeline. So we have a timeline in front of us that how in 1977 and in between 97 to 81 there was a National Police Commission which was formed. Then in 1998 we had Ribeiro Committee. 2000 we had Padmanabhaiya Committee. Then 2002 to 3 we had Malimat Committee. Police Act Drafting Committee in 2005. 2006 Supreme Court gave direction in Prakash Singh case. Okay, then we had second ARC recommendation. Second ARC recommendation was given. 2015 we have formed the Police Act drafting committee. So basically, whenever we are talking about, definitely you should know the timeline and you should draw it in your answers. Maximum you will get this question for 15 in a 15 marker. So this timeline is very important. So all have spoken about various aspects of the reforms related to criminal justice system. So there is no need to remember each and every committee in specific, but know them in general and know certain aspects of few committees in specific. Okay. So whenever you are talking about in general, so these various committees and the recommendations, they are revolving around the independence of police establishment from the political setup. So we know that a lot of political interference is there, and we have also all discussed that how is police being the state subject is misused. The authorities, the powers will be misused for the political interest. So the committees, time to time, they have recommended the independence of police establishments from the political setup. Then also related to transfer and posting, we should reduce the say of the political bosses so that the interference will be less and independence will be enjoyed by these forces. They are also talking about separating the investigation from law and order. So investigating police team should be different than the those police who are maintaining the law and order situation. Also, these committees have been very vocal with respect to tackling corruption in the police forces, that how we can reduce the corruption in the police forces, what could be the various mechanism. Okay, and also they have recommended about the citizen oversight on the police to ensure accountability, basically improving the citizens role in making the police accountable. So these points in general you will write, but yes, you should know certain specific points we will discuss next so that you can substantiate your the observations. For example, if we talk about the specific committee, then Malimat committee was formed. And Malimat committee was not only with respect to the police reform, they recommended many things with respect to the criminal justice system. So they are discussing about establishment or more infrastructure of forensic science and laboratory and fingerprint bureau, so that the forensic discipline or the forensic science, the forensic infrastructure can be developed in the country. They are discussing about setting up of central law enforcement agency to take care of the federal crimes, where the center is also involved, state is also involved. So federal crimes, they are talking about, in order to manage that, we should have a central law enforcement agency. They are also talking about moving away from the present adversarial system to inquisitorial system. So what happens whenever these issues are there related to custodial death or custodial rape? So overall investigation process, magistrate cannot inquire. Magistrate is mere, or at present system they are only a spectator. So whatever is the facts or the issues are being presented to in front of them, they will analyze them and they will tell. So Malimat committee recommended that this is the present system, what I am telling you now. So that is adversarial system. We should move to inquisitorial system, where the magistrate should actively participate, means judicial inquiry in custodial death or custodial rape. Such cases, it should be made mandatory to dig out the truth and to punish the guilty. Also, Malimat committee spoke in detail about the witness protection, how it should be done, what is the importance of protecting the witness, and they also spoke very important right of the victim, that they should be must be part of the entire trial process. If we leave the victim only from the overall trial process, then it will not be justice in true sense. So, like this, you should know certain recommendations in specific. Next is a specific point which you should know from the Supreme Court's direction in Prakash Singh case in 2006. So these are the seven directives. So Supreme Court told that the State Security Commission must be constituted, fixed 2 year tenure for DGP, so that fixed tenure will be there. They will be not posted and transferred at the whims and the fancies of the political bosses. 2 year term for SPs and SHOs, because it has been observed that these, due to these frequent transfers, frequent postings, and that too because of the political interest, justice or the law and order situation at one place, like it will be not maintained properly. So we need to give them fixed tenure so that they will be able to solve the problems. Let's say I am an officer, I am working on some issue, some political boss will interfere and my transfer will happen. Okay, and the Supreme Court also directed for separate investigation and law and order function for the police. Okay, It also recommended, it also directed about setting up of the Polish Establishment Board in order to look about the transfers and posting related issues, setting up of police complaint authorities at the state and district level, and the last one is the setting up National Security Commission at central level. So, like this, you should know the provisions of the specific cases and committees. So, based on these directives were given to the state by Supreme Court, and the states were supposed to come out with a model police act, but the states have not implemented all the directives. So, this is the situation. So whenever we are talking about criminal justice system in India or criminal justice system, so whatever recommendations we saw related to police, we saw related to judiciary. So what happens whenever this criminal justice system, if we talk about it, starts right from the crime commencement, and then inquiry and making of the charge sheet, then the trial in the magisterial courts, and then finally related issues related to conviction and acquittal. So whenever we talk about conviction and acquittal, further if conviction is happening, then bail issues will come into picture. So bail, we have separately discussed about the bail reforms in one of the DI initiative, I think 18th day or some one proper discussion is there. So if you have not seen that video, please go and see that video related to bail reforms, and that too, it was in context, it was in news because of this Sunil Kumar until recommendations or what all provisions Supreme Court has told. So in there is a Sunil Kumar until case in which Supreme Court has directed certain things. So do cover these bail related issues. Then we have custody or custodial tortures and related deaths will be there. Unnecessary arrests are happening. So 67% of the prison population is full of under trials. So what why this situation is there? So whenever such issues will come, we will talk about the problems in judiciary, be it of the pendency of the cases or the shortage of the judges or poor infrastructure or the vacancies, no proper management of the cases. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that all these stages must be covered whenever you are talking about criminal justice system. It includes all these stages, right from crime commencement, then inquiry, charge sheet, trial, and magisterial courts, and finally, after the trial, it will either there will be acquittal or there will be conviction. So, under conviction, also these are the issues. So, it can be related to bail reforms, it can be related to prison reforms. So, my point to tell you is that this criminal justice system is very broad topic. Here, police reform can come, bail reforms can come, the reforms related to IPC can come, your prison reforms can come, judicial reforms can come. So they are independent topic in themselves. Okay, so do cover them as and when it will come. But yes, broadly, in general, whatever we have discussed, that much at least you should know. Okay. Now, whenever we are talking about way forward, also, so on one hand, we have discussed we have institutions, police is there, judiciary is there, laws are there, like IPC is there. Then other laws we discussed in the starting, or like Police Act, Evidence Act, Criminal Code of Criminal Procedures are there. So IPC, there are certain sections which are colonial legacy. New forms of crimes are coming. Sedition is there. So also the day of DIA first day of daily issue analysis, we have covered sedition in detail. So like this, over a period of time, even we have covered, and in future we will also cover, and you will also cover these institutions and the problems and issues related to these institutions. Certain reforms are required in IPC. So what are those? So whenever we are talking about way forward, you talk about these institutions like Malimat Committee has told, like Supreme Court direction in Prakash Singh case is there, and you also talk about the stakeholders, that is victim, witness, and prisoners. So all these you must incorporate in a holistic manner whenever you are talking about the way forward or whenever you are analyzing the issues. So broadly we have discussed everything, and specifically bail reform, sedition, and many such issues we have covered in the past also, and we will cover in future also. So this is what includes the criminal justice system. This is how you should analyze with data, with examples, with committees, with recommendations of the Supreme Court cases, different cases. Okay, so and make your categories. so that you understand the issue in a holistic manner. Okay, guys. So see you all and revise very well. We will meet on Monday, and tomorrow we are starting our ERIT current affair exclusive program for 2023 for from prelims and mains point of view. So do look into the features, and if you are interested, you can join. Take care, guys. Have a good day and see you all.